What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, yes, today's video is going to be an absolute banger because we have a lot of fantastic things to go ahead and discuss. Ever since Modern Warfare 2019, the best way to avoid the extraordinarily thick skill-based matchmaking when it comes to any of these recent Call of Duty games was to join into larger game modes. Hence why Warzone became so popular. It really did take off because of exactly that. Yes, you get your sweats, but man, the amount of variety in those lobbies are insane compared to your 6v6 experience nowadays. So, Modern Warfare 2019 up to current date, if you didn't feel like dealing with Warzone, your best bet was to play something like, Ground War, combat pacing from Vanguard. I forgot what they called it in Black Ops Cold War, but I think later on they also added in 10v10, which is also a phenomenal option. All of these features allowed you to get a little break from skill-based matchmaking, because basically, the larger the player pool, the harder it is for it to hone in on your skill bracket, It can't completely focus in on KD when it's so many people involved. It has to, at some point, make sure connection is prioritized. And of course, you get your sweats in these larger game modes. You always will, It's just a thing of Call of Duty nowadays. But when it comes to your connection and, variety of gameplay, in 10v10 and above, you get way more of that compared to when it's condensed and it's, finally tuning teams in 6v6. And sadly, Modern Warfare 3, obviously didn't launch with 10v10, but man, with the swiftness it has been introduced into the game, one thing I must say about Sledgehammer is that they are flying through updates right now. I have a few other huge things I have to talk about later on in this video about what Sledgehammer is doing here, but seriously, compared to any other development team, the stuff that they are doing here is going to really leave this game at a pretty solid foundation to last over a, seasonal break for them. And again, we'll see how they are when they return. But they really are, making sure that this puppy is going to be set and it's going to be smooth rolling. So when it does go on down hours, it will be able to thrive and somehow, find a way. But with the introduction of 10v10 in Modern Warfare 3, as expected, the lobbies are 10 trillion times better. Yes, you will get your competitive games, but when it comes to variety and what the people are doing in the game and just, it's not as compact as, the 6v6 experience. When you get into a really sweaty match of 6v6, lanes are locked and, it's not much variety going on. You see the same weapons, the same stuff going on, the same routes. It's not bad. It's enjoyable. But when it gets way too competitive, which is what it, is nowadays because of skill-based matchmaking, it's not as, I guess, pleasing. In 10v10, you just do not see it that often. Again, you will get your handful of sweats, you'll get your handful of good players, but the way they play and the way they go about engagements, is completely different from 10v10 to 6v6, which allows for a little bit more breathing room. And if you are a casual player or you're casual and you're playing solo, this will allow you to find more engagements out there and not just keep running into the same people over and over and over again. Again, I'm saying this not, exactly for me, because I do enjoy some competition. I like that out of Call of Duty here and there. But for the mass majority of people out there who just want to hop on and kick back and relax, you're tired, you're exhausted, you don't want to have to sweat, this is where you're going to want to, gravitate towards, because you will find more variety in gameplay. Camo grinding will probably be tremendously better, along with, 24/7 Rust being introduced, and they also added in hardcore 24/7 Rust within pretty much the same day because of, community feedback. Again, they are on a roll. They're making sure everything is straight. Camo grinding, now is the time. I also believe there's double XP. I'm not sure if it's for the weapons, but if it is, once again, now is the time. If there was ever a better moment to go ahead and try to get some grinding done, if, of course, you have the game, now is the time to do so. And pairing 10v10 along with the experimental playlist where they said they're going to go ahead and try, non-disbanding lobbies, that will be key. Again, skill-based matchmaking will always be here unless Microsoft decides to go ahead and do something about it. But that combination, if they decide to, one, do it in the first place, because you never know, they might just completely ignore it and not end up doing it in the experimental playlist down the road. But if that combination does come alive, ladies and gentlemen, we are seriously in for a treat. At the end of the day, seriously, Sledgehammer, you guys are probably going to go on a little break here. And then, of course, once winter break comes around, you're going to go on another break. At the end of the day, enjoy your break. You deserve it. You put in a ton of work to make sure that this game was polished, good, and ready to, go for a little bit while you guys do your thing. And also, I have to mention this as well. Not only did, all of this stuff just get introduced into the game, but they already got out their first meta shift. You might have heard this from other content creators, but I had to go ahead and mention this because, I do enjoy, a pretty competitive side of COD as well. So I was definitely one of the people complaining about SMGs being extraordinarily underpowered and certain ARs just being ridiculously OP. They already got out a meta shift before the first season. When they said they were going to go ahead and adjust things and they're going to focus on SMGs, I thought they were talking about season 1, right? Because that's always how it goes down. Infinity Ward made us wait ages to get anything balanced out, and still their game was absurdly unbalanced. Here we are, and of course, I didn't test out too many Modern Warfare 2 2022 weapons yet. I feel like, I don't know, maybe there's going to be problems down the road, or maybe they're perfect right now, but that's not really a priority to me. I'm just more focused on the Modern Warfare 3 stuff. And the burst weapons were absurd. The Holger was nasty, and the SMGs were underpowered. The AMR, I believe is the name of the one SMG, and the Striker both got a buff. The Striker 9 got a nerf. Now, I don't know. I haven't tried that one recently. I actually liked it before. I don't know. We'll see how it is now. But these SMGs are just fantastic now. And again, I did not expect them to get it out so soon and fix the meta so fast, but they already did. And of course, there's going to have to be more adjustments down the road for other weapons. But for the time being, once again, while they're going away for a little bit here, this is the best spot you could leave this game in. Seriously, they made sure they got this done. The burst weapons, they got nerfed, like I said, but it's not a drastic nerf. They're still fun, they're still usable, they're still viable, but they don't feel as much of, a crutch now compared to what they were before. The Holger, it's still a really reliable weapon, but not as crazy. And the ACR and, and all the other guns, they feel like they can all just basically merge together nicely. You can use whatever AR you want, and it will fill its role correctly. Well, in its own department, because some are better than others in certain areas and different maps, but still, at the end of the day, they're assault rifles, and they serve that purpose perfectly. And same with the SMGs now. Again, they really wanted to put, a hyper-focus down. They want SMGs to kind of act like the rival. And I agree, I want my SMGs not to be laser beams across the map. They're made for close-quarter engagements, and I need to be able to run and gun, maneuver buildings, dip in and out of spots, and be able to engage with ARs and battle rifles up close with confidence without worrying that a big beefy gun is going to outgun me every time, point blank. That's the whole purpose of running SMGs, is to have that advantage. And boy, did they do a fantastic buff. The SMGs feel just phenomenal now. And the way they work, the way they feel while you're moving, like seriously, Sledgehammer, you have done a fantastic job with the meta shift. And hopefully, we keep seeing this happen and we can get more meta shifts in the future and everything can just, be extraordinarily useful at the end of the day. But to summarize, Sledgehammer Games is absolutely destroying Infinity Ward in every way, shape, and form. I never thought we would ever see communication and love from a development team that works on a Call of Duty game ever. We have seen so many drastic changes since launch. A week or a week and a half this game has been out, and we have already had a couple of drastic changes, meta shifts, more additions, content, all of the above, things to grind for. Sadly, no, ranks for your personal level, but, I have other videos for that. But you get the whole point. They are putting us, the community, number one overall, over everything, even an ego, even their own design decisions. Forget it. It's about what we want to see introduced into the game. And that is what's so important and so enjoyable about this title. And like I said, it's really addicting. If it wasn't for the thick skill-based matchmaking, this game would be so much better. But again, 10v10 will resolve this to a certain degree. It will. It won't be the best thing in the universe, but trust me, it's been a technique that I've used for ages now. Ever since Modern Warfare 2019, I've always used this technique to get more casual games. And again, you will find sweats. But compared to 6v6, if you play 5 games of 6v6 and 5 games of 10v10, you'll probably have a more, more variety in gameplay in the 10v10 lobbies than you would ever have in 6v6. You'll probably see the same meta weapons, the same people holding the same lanes, the same nonsense, whereas in 10v10 you'll see everything, all different types of stuff, and every game will feel unique in its own way. To a certain extent, obviously, it's not like, it's like a big Warzone map and so many different factors are taking place. But still, compared to 6v6, you will get that variety. It's sad because that's what 6v6 used to be. You used to be able to get that variety, but no longer. But ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, and by all means, if you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell if you want to see more content just like this. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And last but not least, we do stream pretty much daily over on Kick. So if you guys want to catch those live streams, we start usually around 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You guys can find a link to that channel as well as all my other socials down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.